हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम लोग ब्रेक्जिट के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे। नाउ रिसेंटली यूके ने यूरोपियन यूनियन से एग्जिट कर लिया है, सो हेंस वी कॉल इट ब्रेक्जिट, एग्जिट ऑफ ब्रिटेन फ्रॉम यूरोपियन यूनियन, दैट इज ब्रेक्जिट. Now in order to understand what is Brexit and what will be the impact of Brexit, हम पहले समझेंगे कि यूरोपियन यूनियन क्या है. So European Union is a political and economic union of 27 member states. That is 27 countries. Now, if you include UK into this, then it becomes 28 member states. So what is political union and what is economic union? We'll understand this. Now, political union means that the European Union, the Parliament of European Union, will make laws for all the member countries. Now, how is it possible when all the countries are a sovereign entity? हमने ये पढ़ा है what is a sovereign entity. Sovereign means a country makes its own laws, they take their own decision without any outside influence. But here European Union is making laws for all the member countries. How is it done? Now जितने भी यूरोपियन यूनियन के मेंबर कंट्रीज हैं, मेंबर स्टेट्स हैं, उन्होंने एक ट्रीटी के थ्रू यूरोपियन यूनियन को ये पावर दिया है कि आप इस सब्जेक्ट मैटर्स पे लॉज बना सकते हो हमारे लिए. नाउ what are the subject matters, how will they decide कि कौन सा लॉ EU बनाएगा एंड कौन सा लॉ ये बनाएगा. Now they already have a agreed structure in place. Similarly जैसा हमारे इंडिया में एक फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है, क्वाज़ी फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है, जहाँ पर there is a union list, there is a state list and there is a concurrent list. So union list में सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट लॉ बना सकता है, स्टेट लिस्ट में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट लॉ बना सकता है, कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में दोनों मिलकर लॉ बना सकता है. Similarly, in European Union, there is a list where which covers the subject जिसमें सिर्फ European Union can make law. Secondly, there is a list which covers subject matters on which the member states can make their own law. And then there are subjects where both of them can concurrently make law, but the laws made by the European Union would prevail. This is a political union, as in they are acting as a union when it comes to making laws of the country and indulging into political matters. Now let us understand what is economic union. Economic union, generally such kind of treaty which creates a economic union, we call it a free trade agreement, FTA. What happens in a free trade agreement in an economic union is कि हम जितने भी ट्रेड बैरियर्स है, दो कंट्री के बीच में जितने भी ट्रेड बैरियर्स है उसे हटा देते हैं. नाउ ये ट्रेड बैरियर्स क्या है? नाउ सपोज यूके को जर्मनी में कुछ सामान भेजना है. नाउ अगर ट्रेड बैरियर्स हैं इन दोनों कंट्रीज के बीच में, देन जब यूके जर्मनी में कोई सामान भेजेगा, देन जर्मनी विल इम्पोज कस्टम टैक्सेस ऑन इट. दैट इज ट्रेड बैरियर्स. More specifically, that is tariff-based trade barriers. This is one trade barrier. Secondly, अगर Germany can put more conditions on UK कि अगर आप भेज रहे, it has to be of some quality, आपको ये quality standards adhere करने. For example, if UK wants to export rice to Germany, जर्मनी के अपने डिमांड्स हैं कि आपको आप एक साल में इस पर्टिकुलर कोटा से ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर सकते, आप इस पर्टिकुलर क्वालिटी से ऊपर का ही सामान एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. दीज आर नॉन टैरिफ ट्रेड बैरियर्स. सो ओवरऑल ये सारे ट्रेड बैरियर्स ईयू के अंदर खत्म हो चुके थे. देयर इज नो ट्रेड बैरियर बिटवीन वन मेंबर कंट्री एंड द other member country. So all the trade barriers are removed, and additionally they act as one single entity, as one single union when it comes to international trade. So whatever the trade policy of European Union will be on various subject matters, the same policy will be of the all the countries. So they're acting as a union here. They're acting as a union politically, and they're acting as a union economically. So this is European Union. Now, European Union has been a product of a very long negotiations, a very long political process. In order to do so, now you understand the gravity of the negotiations here. 28 member states have negotiated to become a union. Now, this is a very huge thing. You can compare this with India negotiating with China on some issue, or India negotiating with Pakistan. It takes years. It takes a lot of struggle to get an agreement on a single point. So, in order to have this kind of European Union, the struggle has been huge. तो यूरोपियन यूनियन बनाने के लिए यूरोपियन यूनियन हैज गिवन अ लॉट ऑफ फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी टू द member countries, and as per the flexibility we have different entities or different areas inside the European Union. For example, let's see Eurozone. Eurozone is a group of country inside the European Union, that is 19 countries out of the 27 countries who accept euro as their currency. So euro is not accepted in all the European Union countries, but only 19 countries have euro as their own currency. Now UK, as you can see, I have highlighted this as red. UK also did not accept euro as their own currency. UK के पास अपना pound sterling अपना currency है. So similarly we see that European Union के जो countries हैं, not including Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Hungary, Poland, Romania, Sweden, are part of Eurozone. And then we have European Economic Area. Now, European Economic Area is 3 additional countries apart from European Union, that is Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, where there is a economic economic union agreement between them. So there is no political agreement between them, but only economic. What does it mean? That European Union and these 3 countries, that is Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norway, in चारों के बीच में there will be a free movement of persons, goods and service. But EU cannot make laws for these 3 countries. So they are only European Economic Area. So this is kind of flexibility these 3 countries have got with respect to European Union. Now then we have Schengen area. Schengen area, we all popularly know a visa called Schengen visa. So one single visa can give you access to all the European countries, including Switzerland, the 3 countries of the Iceland of the European Economic Area, that is Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, but not Bulgaria, not Croatia, not Cyprus, not Ireland, not Romania, and also not UK. That means that in one single visa you can travel to all these countries except Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Ireland, Romania and UK. Now here we are assuming that UK is a part of Brexit for the purpose of this explanation only. So now we have understood what is European Union. Now let us understand how did European Union originated. Now after the World War II, we can see in World War II the majority of the countries that were fighting amongst each other were the European countries. So all the European countries were war torn, सबकी हालत बहुत ज़्यादा खराब थी, and they were trying to figure out a way that they don't have such kind of war in future. So what some leaders thought, कि when these countries, when the countries of Europe are economically dependent on each other, then there is a very less chance that they'll fight. a war can affect the economy of both the countries, and when there is economic cooperation, economic interdependence, the relations are automatically better. Now you can compare this with India and relations between India and Pakistan and India and China. Now India and China are economically interdependent, whereas India and Pakistan are less economically interdependent. So when something has to be negotiated with China, it is done in a better, easier way. But when something has to be negotiated with Pakistan, it takes a lot of struggle, it takes a lot of time. Now, this is how economic interdependence comes into play. So, in 1951, it started with the Treaty of Paris. Treaty of Paris established European coal and steel community. So, this treaty created an economic interdependence with respect to coal and steel only. It started with coal and steel only with amongst 6 countries, and slowly it expanded. And then in 1957, Treaty of Rome, which established European Economic Community, which we also call European Community nowadays. So this European Economic Community extended the cooperation from coal and steel to a larger sector, to a larger understanding और to larger commodities. तो हमने European Economic Community establish करा. UK was not originally part of European Economic Community. It was a little reluctant in the beginning to join the negotiations of European Economic Community, or for that matter, the European Coal and Steel Community. UK joined European Economic Community in 1973 only. Now, this is the major reason why UK wanted Brexit. The roots of Brexit lies here. That is a very that goes for a very detailed analysis of Brexit, which is not required for CLAT. So we'll have that discussion some other day. So in 1987, a single European Act was passed by the European Economic Community, which revised Treaty of Rome. Now this single European Act, the purpose was to have a political cooperation also in the European Economic Community. Basically, to have a economic cooperation and political cooperation. So this single European Act envisaged a European Union. Now in 1992, after 6 years after the single European Act was signed, it was signed in 1986, it was enforced in 1987. 6 years after it was signed, we had Maastricht Treaty. Now Maastricht Treaty formally established European Union, and then in 2009 we had our Lisbon Treaty. Now these two treaties are very important. Maastricht Treaty जो कि हमारा यूरोपियन यूनियन स्टैब्लिश करा, एंड लिस्बन ट्रीटी इन 2009 Maastricht Treaty को रिवाइज करा, उसमें काफ़ी सारे अमेंडमेंट्स लाए एंड काफ़ी सारे ऐसे चेंजेस लाए जो कि यूरोपियन यूनियन में बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चेंजेस थे. Now we have understand the origin of European Union, the how it evolved and the timeline. Now let's understand the timeline of Brexit, how and when things took place. So in 2016, David Cameron was facing a general election. Now in that election, he promised that if he is voted to power, he'll hold a referendum in UK asking the UK people if they want to have a Brexit or not. Now David Cameron, please keep in mind that David Cameron was a pro-Brexit Prime Minister. He did not pro-Brexit Prime Minister, against Brexit Prime Minister. He did not want a Brexit. But as a election strategy, he announced that he'll held a referendum asking people of UK whether you want Brexit or not. Now, after this promise and after the general election he won, he held the referendum on 23rd June 2016, and majority of the people voted for the Brexit, that is to leave the European Union. Now, since David Cameron, he was not in favor of Brexit, he had to resign, and for the reasons best known to him, because he only held the referendum. So, after winning the elections, he resigned, and when he resigned, Theresa May came to power. Now, Theresa May also did not want Brexit to happen. She was also not in favor of Brexit. But then, referendum already ho chuke the. So, she already knew what the people wanted, and she could not go against the will of the people. So, even though she did not want a Brexit to happen, she had to implement the results of the referendum. So on 29 March 2017, she wrote to the Prime Minister of the European Union asking to trigger Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. Now we have seen what is Lisbon Treaty. Lisbon Treaty was signed in 2019, revising the Maastricht Treaty. She invoked Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. Article 50 says that if any country wants to exit the European Union, you'll write a letter to us asking us to trigger a 2-year countdown in which you'll have this period in which you can make your own arrangements. You'll have a transition period. You'll have your own time to get comfortable and leave the European Union. Now, why was this 2-year very important? Now, let us understand this. यूरोपियन यूनियन और यूके के बीच में there is no trade barriers, there is no non-trade barriers. People can move freely, goods can move freely, money can move freely. Now, people from European Union were living in UK. People from UK were living in other parts of European countries. There was various litigations pending in various European Union courts, various UK courts, various courts of other countries. There were various issues revolving around. Now, a lot of things had to be taken care of before UK could exit from EU. So that is why this 2-year provision was there. In 2-year period, you can first if you want to negotiate another deal with the European Union or make your own arrangements for the exit. Now, on 29 March 2017, this 2-year countdown was triggered. That means by 28th March 2019, Brexit हो जाना चाहिए था. But we see कि Brexit काफी late से हुआ. Now we'll see why. So this 2-year period was also less for UK to negotiate a deal, to negotiate an agreement with UK, and to take with European Union to take care of other things. So on 14th March 2019, she asked for an extension. Again on 20th March 2019, she asked for another extension. Then on April 2019, an third extension was sought. But then Theresa May, now here Theresa May, what she was trying was, the Brexit could have a very bad, very negative impact on the economy of UK. So Theresa May did not want Brexit to happen, but of course there was political compulsions. She had to implement the Brexit. So she thought maybe they could have a deal with European Union that will give a better trade terms and conditions with the European Union. For example, Now UK and EU had no trade barriers, a very little non-trade barriers. तो ये सारे चीज़ें अगर ख़त्म हो जाते आफ्टर ब्रेक्सिट, ये ख़त्म हो जाएंगे, then the relations between UK and EU will be the same as the relation between India and European Union. So अगर इंडिया से कोई सामान यूरोपियन यूनियन जा रही है तो उस पर कस्टम टैक्स लगेगा, एंड यूके से अगर कोई सामान यूरोपियन यूनियन जा रही है तो उस पर भी लगेगा, जो कि पहले नहीं लगता था. Apart from this, there were various other concerns also. So what Theresa May wanted, that let us have a very soft exit, not very hard exit, as in ki the relationship between EU and UK will be same as any other country in the world which does not have any other agreement in place. So that would be a hard Brexit, बहुत ही hard तरीके से breakup हो जाता उनका. She wanted a soft, that okay fine, we'll exit from the European Union, but let us have some agreements, some good terms already in place before we exit. But the UK Parliament did not favor a deal. She tabled a deal 3 times in the UK Parliament, and the UK Parliament rejected, after which Theresa May resigned and a new Prime Minister came into power. Now, who was this new Prime Minister? It was Boris Johnson. Now, it is a very interesting thing to note that David Cameron, Theresa May and Boris Johnson, all three of them belong to the same party, that is Conservative Party, but they have different opposing views, different opposing policies. Now, this is a very interesting thing to note, and this points out to a very vibrant democracy they have, where a dissent can exist within a party also. A very interesting thing to note. Anyway, let's move on. So, after Boris Johnson came into power, he again asked for an extension from the European Union. Now, it is to be noted that the extensions 4 बार मिले हैं अभी तक. So last extension he got was up to 31st January 2020. Now, before that, he also tabled a deal which was rejected by the UK Parliament. But then general elections happened. Boris Johnson won again. That is, Conservative Party won again. Boris Johnson was elected as the Prime Minister. He came into power again, tabled another deal, another bill, that is European Union Withdrawal Agreement bill in the Parliament, which got assent of the Parliament, and then it got royal assent, that is the Queen of the Britain approved the bill on 23rd January 2020. So on 23rd January 2020, European Union Withdrawal Agreement Act came into existence. Now, this European Union Withdrawal Agreement Act is the most important act here. इस act के through ही the Brexit will get executed. So let us see what is this European Union Withdrawal Agreement Act. Now, it says two major things. First, that the European Communities Act 1972 will get repealed. Now, what is this European Communities Act 1972? This act was passed by UK Parliament, giving the powers to the Prime Minister of the UK, the executive of the UK, to negotiate free trade agreement or to be part of European Communities EEC by this act. So, first thing, in order to exit the European Union, first thing they had to do was repeal the European Communities Act. Very important. And second thing this European Union Withdrawal Agreement Act provided was a transition period. 1 year transition period, less than 1 year transition period. That means till 31st December 2020, there will be a transition period, and in this transition period, the European Union laws will be applicable in the UK. So in this period, the UK can negotiate another deal with European Union. In this transition period, it can take care of other teething issues which will happen with the the exit with the European Union. So this is the two major things provided in the Act, and it is most important for us for the purposes of CLAT. Now let's move on as to why UK wanted a Brexit. Now we can, I am sure we all have that feeling that European Union is a very good initiative. It has a very positive outcomes of European Union. But then why UK wanted to exit from the European Union? Now there are various reasons. The first will come to the economic reasons. The very basic issue was the membership fees. Britain said कि it loses more economically than what it could have gained. Now this membership fees is based on the population, and the population of UK is very high, which is the fees is £340 per year per household. Now since UK has the highest population in European Union, it pays the highest membership fees. Second issue was that UK said EU's policies were too protectionist. Now what is the meaning of protectionist? That means European Union protects its own companies, its own sectors, industrial sectors, and it does not promote competitions amongst the companies of other countries and the companies of European Union. Now the competition is always a good thing for any economy. The competition brings out the best of any economy, as we can see how India has progressed after 1991 liberalization. Now the other issues were the sovereign debt crisis, the fiscal control European Union had on other nations' budget. Britain was not very comfortable with European Union controlling its own budget. And lastly, there was the issue of Tobin tax. Now what is Tobin tax? Tobin tax is tax on financial transactions. So any for example, if I transfer a friend of mine say 100 rupees or say 100 euro, there will be a tax on that, and all the other tax, all the other indirect tax will cease to exist. This is Tobin tax, which was proposed by Germany, and UK was not in favor of this. This has not been implemented as of now, just a proposal, but UK is not in favor of this, and UK, please keep in mind, was one of the most important financial hub of European Union. Now then we have immigration issues. Half of the British immigrants were coming from the European Union. It was making the people of UK, the Britain, very uncomfortable. First thing was that they felt 3/4 of the jobs created since 1993 were taken by the European Union immigrants, and when UK government is creating jobs in their country, the people of UK were not getting benefit of this. The people of EU immigrant or people of the European Union, the immigrants who were coming to the UK, were getting benefits of this. So this was one point where the people of UK got irritated. Second point was they perceive immigrants to pose a threat to national security, and they perceive them to say criminals. So they perceive that majority of crimes happening inside UK is because of the immigrants. Now, this is a very common perception people have towards immigrants and refugees. The last issue was the refugee. Now, UK being a member of EU had an obligation to accommodate refugees from all around the world. Now, there's a difference between refugee and immigrant. Now, immigrants move from one country to another in search of better opportunities, but refugees, they come from one country to another country to seek protections. Protection can be from a war, hunger, or various kinds. So, if someone is escaping from Middle East because of the war and coming to European Union, they are a refugee. But if someone from India goes to European Union to study, or say UK to study, he's a immigrant because he has gone to search for a better opportunity. So UK did not want to accommodate refugees from all around the world. It already had a huge population, but being a member of European Union, it had an obligation to accommodate refugees, and this did not find favor with the UK. The last issue was the sovereignty issue, of course. Now, if you are a member of European Union, if UK is a member of European Union, it loses some of its sovereign powers. Sovereign powers to decide on few issues, to make laws in few issues, because now the power is with the European Union to make laws. So the authority of British Parliament was limited here to a greater extent. This is the reason why the people of UK wanted a Brexit. Now let us see what will happen, what will be the impact of Brexit. First, on UK. So, of course, the export and import of UK will take a hit. Now, European Union is a very large market, very large market. So all the countries here in the European Union act as a single entity, single market, and UK used to export a lot of its products into the European market. So the foreign exchange, not foreign exchange, the money it used to get from exports and imports will take a hit. Secondly, the financial services in UK will take a hit. Now, UK has become a major financial hub in European Union, in the world, especially London. So it provides financial services to the companies across European Union. Now, we can see there is a free movement of money, people and goods. That is why a company could base out of London and serve other countries in European Union as well. But now, since there will be a Brexit, UK will no longer be part of EU, the companies in the London, in the UK, will not be able to serve properly to the companies of other member states. And then the immigrants who used to come from European Union, they were better educated and skilled than the local population of the UK. Majorly because the immigrants in the EU would come to seek better education, and after the education they would get a job there only, hence they were better educated, skilled. Now after the Brexit, UK will lose a great set of skilled and better educated immigrants. So this will create another economic impact on the UK. Now, geopolitical impact. So first thing, we'll understand the political arrangement of UK with Scotland and Northern Ireland. This will definitely suffer. Now, see this map. This is UK. This is Scotland, and this is Northern Ireland. This is Ireland. So Northern Ireland is part of UK, but it is on a separate island. The island which belongs to the Ireland. So and we can see this is the border which separates Ireland and the UK. Now Ireland is a part of European Union. So this border has its own dispute, and this dispute dates back to 100 years, maybe more than that. So after UK became part of European Union, the border was nearly non-existent. So people from Ireland could travel to Northern Ireland, people from Northern Ireland could travel to Ireland. So ये जो dispute था हमारा ये almost खत्म हो चुका था. When there is no border, there is no border dispute. But then जब वापस से हमारा UK separate हो जाएगा European Union से, this border will come into existence again. And this has created a lot of problems, a lot of geopolitical problems in the UK and in the relations between the people of UK and Northern Ireland. This is a very important thing, a very interesting thing for you to study. You can study Good Friday Agreement. You can Google it and you can have a good reading in your free time about that. Good Friday Agreement, which was between UK and Ireland on issues related to the Northern Ireland. The second geopolitical problem it will create is that the UK was a major part of European Union, and it could influence the policy of European Union when it was a part of it. But now, since UK is not a part of European Union, it will be kind of lonely now in Europe, and it will lose its leverage in international community. Now, what will be the impact on EU? The first thing, the idea of European Union stands challenged. That is, if UK can exit, other members will also consider the possibility of exiting the European Union. And most countries fear that Greece will consider the possibility. So the idea of European Union, which was to create a union, which we thought until now was a very successful idea, that idea has now been challenged. The other thing is that UK is currently going from multiple economic crises, from financial slowdowns, issues with Russia, their own security concerns. There have been multiple security issues in various countries. We have seen various attacks happening in France, UK, and then there is a security threat. This security, UK was a major security partner of the European Union, and now this will create a problem problem for both of them. They will not be a united front with respect to security threats. So they will be independent, and this will create some problems when they'll try to cope up with terrorist attacks. They try to cope up with threats from other countries. Now let's come to India, very important for us. What will be the impact on India? First thing, rupee might depreciate. Secondly, UK became a huge financial market, especially London. And Indian companies started investing in London. They started setting their shop in London so that they can serve the other European countries. But now Britain is separate from European Union. The Indian companies who have set up their shop in UK will lose the market access now. So, for example, we have Jaguar, Land Rover. These are Indian-owned companies who are based out in London. And were serving the whole European market. Now we'll lose this benefit of having our company set up in London. And then India will lose close to $108 billion in IT and IT enabled services industry in 2 to 3 years of period of time. But there are other pros also. Firstly, Indian companies, now since the companies, various companies in UK will lose the value of the assets and they might want to sell their assets in UK and move on to some other country which has better access to EU market, there the assets of those country, the price of those assets will fall down. So Indian companies might be able to acquire those assets, those high-tech assets. Secondly, the tie between trade ties, basically trade ties between India and UK will get a boost because UK will now have to separately negotiate with India on various other matters, and UK is more in favor of a competitive economy than in favor of a protectionist economy. And then Britain will now want to have a bilateral trade pact with India, and the exports from India to UK will also increase now because the export from India to UK will have same value as to export from European country to UK. Same taxes, hence same value on the exported items. And then it will now get cheaper to travel to UK. It will get cheaper for Indian students to study in UK. We have very good universities there. So the human development index in India will be better to some extent as the education in UK will be cheaper now. And then talented labor skillful people from India will flow to UK now as we have a very large English speaking population who can serve the demands of UK. And of course the price of crude oil will fall, and this will save a lot of money in India. As you can see, for every $1 drop in crude oil prices, it saves India almost $1 billion on all import bills. So this was our Brexit. Thanks for being so patient. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.